My Lords, it's a pleasure, obviously, to follow the noble lady, Baroness Hamway, and the noble Lord, Lord Anderson. And I obviously don't have their legal expertise, but even I, as a civilian, can understand that the legal tests in this bill are absolutely inadequate. I had the pleasure of being on the Metropolitan Police Authority for 12 years when I was on the London Assembly. And in that time, I met a large number of police officers, some of whom spied on me. And so I feel I can understand the sort of people who become police officers. Incredibly hardworking, very brave, but they are human. They make mistakes. And they certainly made a mistake when they decided to report on my activities, which were all on Twitter, my own Twitter. In any case, I've got no experience of security services, well, not that I know of, yet. But I imagine they're human as well, and we are all prone to errors. And the big problem with this bit of the bill is that the legal tests are too wishy-washy. They actually let the authorising bodies free rein. And if we don't in some way contract those processes, then there will be mistakes. There are bound to be mistakes. And it will become very, very difficult to challenge even the most absolutely obviously wrong authorisations. And the crimes will have been committed, the damage will have been done, and the harm caused. And this could be to entirely innocent people, as has happened in the past. And the reasonableness test should be included in the bill, and I think the government will struggle to argue against that. But I think we have to actually go beyond reasonableness, and that's why I've signed Lord Ross's Amendment 19. The decision maker should consider and show evidence that they've thought about the alternative to authorising criminal conduct. So where criminality can be avoided, it should be. And I took the noble Lord Paddock's point about the fact that as an inspector at 24, he was not what I would consider a necessarily appropriate person to authorise immunity from criminal conduct. I'm sure he was an incredibly competent police officer, but even so, that's an incredibly young age to have that sort of understanding of the impacts of what you're doing. And the decision maker should also demonstrate that they're not using this legislation to bypass other, more appropriate legal routes to achieving their objectives. They shouldn't be able to authorise criminal conduct where a legal route exists. So, for example, the legislation mustn't create loopholes and backdoors for authorities to conduct black ops. They mustn't be able to recruit a burglar where they should have used a search warrant, or a hacker where they should have obtained a RIPA authorisation. So it's not sufficient for such critical issues to be left to the code of practice. It must go on the face of the bill. So I really hope the government listens to the noble lords who understand these processes and accept we're all human and we do make mistakes.